Diesel Driver Academy, and we're going to do a brake check, in-cab inspection, parking, and service brake check. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure my brakes are set, my shifter's in neutral. I'm going to chalk my wheels. I'm going to turn my key on, let my gauges swipe and reset. I'm going to start my truck. I'm going to build air pressure to 125 psi. We're already there. So I'm going to turn my key to the off position, turn it back to the on position. I'll let my gauges swipe and reset again. Alright, the first test I'm going to perform is a leak test. The way I'm going to perform that test is I'm going to release both brakes. Then I'm going to apply my foot to the service brake for 1 minute. I should not lose more than 4 psi during that minute. I will wait for the examiner to tell me to remove my foot from the brake pedal or go to the next test. Alright, so the next test I'm going to perform is a low air warning and buzzer test. So I'm going to fan my brakes down to 60 psi. At which point a light and buzzer should sound, and they did. The next test I perform will be an emergency test. I'm going to fan my brakes down to between 20 and 45 psi. At which time the red valve or the emergency valve will pop out, followed by the parking valve, which is the yellow one. It's not uncommon for them both to pop out at the same time, but they're both supposed to pop out, and they did. Alright, at this point, I'm going to do another safe start, which everything is set. I'm going to build pressure back to 125 psi by engaging my idle and revving up. While I'm building pressure, I would ask my examiner if he'd like for me to perform an in-cab inspection. Most likely he'll say yes, so I'll do that now. So I believe in safety first. So in my up ahead globe compartment here, I've got spare fuses. Down here behind or beside the seat, I've got a 10 BC fire extinguisher. It's fully mounted, it's properly mounted, fully charged. I check it by gauge and eyesight. In my side box back here, I will have 3 reflective triangles. Now I'm going to pull out my seat belt. I'm going to check for any cuts or frays. I'm going to make sure that the belt latches securely and that it is adjusted to me. Okay? Now, I start with the windshield and I work my way back in. So, my windshield has no cracks, has no obvious signs of damage. My seal is intact and it's not leaking. My wiper blades are not torn. My wiper arms, they're not bent. I want to show him that the wipers work by pushing it over here. Washers work, wipers work. Now I'm going to do my indicator lights. On the left turn signal, my right turn signal, make sure my high beams work. And I'm on 4-way flashers, make sure they work. Alright, I go to my gauges. My oil pressure, it rises as the engine starts. My water rises as the engine warms. My voltage gauge should read between 13.6 and 14 volts. My primary and secondary air gauges are working properly, and the fuel gauge indicates we have enough fuel to do this test. So now we'll look at my heater and my defrost. I will make sure that they're working properly. Check up here. Got my city horn, my air horn. I'm going to check all of my mirrors, make sure that they're clean and adjusted to me, no cracks. Alright, we're back up to 125 psi, so I will remove the wheel chocks from the truck. And I'll get back in. I will release the tractor brake or the parking valve. I'm going to engage the tractor into drive, and I'm going to tug against my trailer brake. Alright, I will set my tractor brake, put my shifter back in neutral, release my trailer brake, put my shifter back in drive, and I will pull against my tractor brake. Alright, now I'll set both brakes. At this time, the examiner may or may not have you do a service brake test. He may just ask you to tell him how to do a service brake test. So I'm going to tell you how to do one. If he asks you how to do one, you will actually do the maneuver. So I would release both brakes. I put my shifter in drive and I will pull forward 3 to 5 miles per hour. I would apply my brake If the truck does not stop immediately, or if it pulls to the left or to the right, this is an indication that the brakes are out of adjustment and I need to take it to a shop as soon as possible. I would set both brakes, put my shifter back in neutral, and this completes my in-cab, brake, parking, and service brake checks.